Hello everyone, thanks for today's first video of your weekend forecast. For today's first video, as always on a Saturday, having a look at the weather for the week ahead. Later on, we'll have the CFS 6 months look ahead just for fun. That'll be coming up this evening. And also this evening, of course, it'll be the 5th update for the Glastonbury Festival. Now, this weekend forecast, of course, will cover the Glastonbury period, but we won't go in depth for Glastonbury because we've got to cover the whole of the UK. So this evening, that'll be the one that if you're interested in Glastonbury, that'll be one to have a look at. Also, of course, we'll have the very latest from the GFS model as well this evening. So all of that will be coming up to around 6, 7 o'clock, something like that. But doing weekend forecast right now, I'm going to have a look at the weather for the week ahead using the charts from weathercentral.de. If I'm linked to Weather Central on the links page, starting off with a radar picture, and I'll have charts at the end from the Weather Outlook. You can find a link to Weather Outlook on the links page as well. So, we won't dwell on the radar picture too long because this is the latest. So it's hardly any rain to be seen. It's a little bit of patchy rain across the very, very far northwest of Scotland. But essentially, it's a dry day across most parts of the country, so we won't dwell on that too long. The reason it's a dry day is that high pressure is slap bang over the top of the country at 1,025 millibars. So, got a bit of westerly wind across the far north of Scotland. That's producing more cloud up there and those little bits and pieces of rain, which may get a little heavier, actually, across the Outer Hebrides later on this afternoon and into this evening. But essentially, most parts of the country are going to be dry, loads of sunshine, bags of sunshine, and broken sunshine, really, for many southern and central parts of the country, and hot. Temperatures will be going up to around 28, possibly 29 degrees in the south this afternoon. That's in towards the mid-80s, around 84 Fahrenheit. Up in the north, it's very warm even up there, with temperatures into below to mid-20s Celsius, but the heat is down in the south. It is going to be a hot week to come. Move through to tonight, and that high pressure stays in control. Again, we have these westerly winds across the far north of Scotland, so a little bit of cloud and patchy rain up there, but the bulk of the country will be dry and fine with long clear spells. It'll be a warm night, steamy night, especially in the cities, with temperatures not going much lower, but around 15, 16 or 17 degrees. In rural areas, more comfortable, but even there, quite a warm night really. Temperatures around 10 degrees out in the sticks. Into Sunday, and a high pressure is dominating the weather. We are bringing a weak front down into that high pressure, so there will be more cloud for Scotland. There'll be a little burst of showery light rain perhaps as well, particularly in the morning. I think that tends to die out a bit in the afternoon. The rest of the country, England particularly, will have hot sunshine in the morning, and then the heat and humidity might just spark off an isolated thunderstorm down in the south and southeast tomorrow afternoon. They'll be very scattered, very hit and miss. You'll be unlucky, or lucky depending on your point of view, to get one of those. But if you get one, you'll know about it because there's no wind to blow it through, so it'll be pretty slow moving. Temperatures could be hotter than today, possibly reaching 32 degrees in the south. That's around 90 Fahrenheit. In the north, it will be cooler across Scotland with temperatures of around 20 or 21 degrees. That cold front is slipping southwards on Monday as a weakening feature. We start off potentially with a little bit of cloud and patchy showery rain across Scotland and Northern Ireland. I think trivial amounts of rain up there, but as the front comes down into the heat and humidity, it might pep up on Monday afternoon, actually, possibly produce some thunderstorms across northern England and North Wales. Those could be really intense and quite violent thunderstorms as well. Behind that front, it turns a lot cooler for Scotland, with temperatures there of just 17 or 18 degrees, although mostly dry with sunny spells. And then that leaves much of Wales and Midlands down into central southern England with another hot day. And I wouldn't be surprised if temperatures somewhere like central London went up to 33 degrees on Monday afternoon. That's 92 Fahrenheit, so very hot down in the south on Monday, and humid as well. Into Tuesday, and that high pressure is re-establishing over top of the country. The front will be down across the south. I think it'll be a very weak feature, but probably producing a little bit more in the way of cloud, and maybe the chance of an isolated thundery shower somewhere across the south and southeast. Central and northern parts of the country will see a good deal of sunshine. Temperatures will still be very warm and humid down in the south, not quite as hot because there'll be more cloud around, but even so, you might reach 29 or 30 degrees down in the south. Further north, it will be more comfortable. So from the Midlands into northern England, Scotland, I think it'd be a more comfortable feel there, with temperatures generally between around 18 and 24 degrees Celsius. Into Wednesday, and high pressure remains in control of the weather. It's starting to slip over to the east. We're beginning to pull the air back up from the south and southeast, so the heat will begin to spread northwards again through into the middle part of the week. We may spark off some heavy thunderstorms across Scotland. There'll be a weather front moving in from the Atlantic on Wednesday for Scotland. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be thunderstorms or if it's going to be sort of thundery rain, persistent rain. So you've got to wait and see on that one, but it does potentially look quite wet for Scotland on Wednesday. Elsewhere, just another hot day with plenty of sunshine and maybe a few isolated afternoon thunderstorms developing on Wednesday afternoon. Temperature could be back to 30 degrees again in the south, 86 Fahrenheit. Will be cooler, of course, for Scotland, where we have that heavy rain and potentially thunder. Into Thursday, the weather's remaining hot. This is a heat wave by the look of it that we've got here. Temperatures, again, might be up to 32 or 33 degrees on Thursday. So really high temperatures and maybe an increasing risk of thunderstorms developing across central and eastern parts of the country as this trough moves in from the west. That could well spark off some torrential downpours or thunderstorms in the east on Thursday afternoon. Western areas will be, I would have thought, mostly dry and become just a little bit more comfortable, especially so for Northern Ireland and parts of Scotland as well. But I say in the east and south, it's still likely to be very hot on Thursday, with temperatures into the low 30s Celsius, so going into the 90s Fahrenheit once again. And then for Friday, we begin to pull in a westerly wind that's bringing the air in off the Atlantic, so that starts to lower the temperatures. It begins to turn a little bit more comfortable than those parts of the country. Eastern areas probably still hanging on to the heat, really, for East Anglia and South East England. Again, temperatures might be up to around 30 degrees. There might be thundery showers, but elsewhere, I think it's a fresher feel. There might be a few showers scattered about, but also a lot of dry weather. And the main thing will be a slightly cooler feel. So temperatures in the north and west much more comfortable at around 22 to 25 degrees. But as I say, in the southeast, you could still be hanging on to the heat even on Friday, with 30 degrees possible again down in the southeast. Into the weekend, and it looks like these westerly winds will be pushing through across the country. Pressure remaining fairly high down to the south, so I would have thought England and Wales get some reasonable amount of dry weather into the weekend. Maybe some showery rain at times for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Possibly getting a little bit more widespread by Sunday. Temperatures much more comfortable. You don't like the heat. Next weekend does look much more comfortable, with the temperatures ranging somewhere from around, say, 17 to 23 degrees, back closer to the late June average. Finally, having a look at charts for weather outlook. So, well, it's almost a universally dry day today, with bags of sunshine too. Temperatures hot in the south, a little bit cooler up in the north because we've got more cloud. There will be a bit of patchy rain in the northwest later on. Through into Sunday, and showery rain up in the north. Otherwise, hot sunshine down in the south, possibly sparking one or two thunderstorms. Could temperatures reach 32 degrees, 90 Fahrenheit in the southeast tomorrow afternoon? I wouldn't be surprised. Into Monday, we may spark off thunderstorms across northern England and North Wales on Monday, with cooler, fresher air up to the north and still hot sunshine down in the south. Tuesday, still hanging on to the heat in the south, and probably quite a bit of cloud and maybe one or two showers. Central and northern areas much more fresher and cooler and more comfortable, with mostly dry conditions and sunny spells. And then on Wednesday, the heat begins to push back northwards again. On Wednesday, as the sunny spells moves back north, there might be heavy rain or thunder across Scotland, though, on Wednesday. Thursday could be the hottest day of all of this, with temperatures maybe going to around 33 degrees. Wouldn't be that surprised, but we might have thunderstorms breaking out across central and eastern parts of the country. And then on Friday, we're back to mostly dry weather, really, by Friday. Much cooler and fresher in the west. The east and southeast still more or less hanging on to the heat for one last day, but then by next weekend we should be back to cooler and fresher temperatures closer to the average, even down in the southeast. As far as Glastonbury is concerned, there's no sign of anything especially alarming within this forecast. A lot of dry weather, starting off really hot and then progressing back to something a little cooler and fresher. But as I say, we'll have the 5th update for the Glastonbury Festival for you later on today, be coming up this evening. So in summary, we're looking at a hot week, a heat wave really in the days ahead. There's going to be lots of hot weather, especially in the south and the east. Always a little bit more cooler and fresher in the north and west. There will be thunderstorms. They look fairly scattered and hit and miss. Maybe Thursday, the best chance of getting thunder with the peak of the temperatures, and then something a bit cooler and fresher by the time we get through to Friday. Right, that's all for now. CFS 6 Months Look Ahead and the 5th Glastonbury update coming up this evening. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.